to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made woof of those, and we give each and every sequel a fair woof. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson. I was trying to think of a dog pun, but I couldn't do it. Turns out my name is terrible with puns.
I love barking. Anyways, the reason we're barking in the opening is...
You and DMX.
We are knee-deep into the Benji franchise, and today we are looking at the sequel For the Love of Benji. We might have a bunch of new listeners this week, and if you are new, thanks for being here. Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
You can email us, sequelrights@gmail.com, and catch up on all of our past episodes at sequelrights.com.
We'd love to say hi. Thanks for being here. You guys are the best.
For the love of Benji.
For the love of Benji.
Quit barking.
I'm not going to bark.
I wonder why that was the title. Like, it doesn't... Having seen the movie, it does not make any sense.
Here's my theory, and we can get into this after we get in the Sweet Sweet trailer, but it almost sounds like a James Bond title, and I think that's kind of what Joe Camp was going for.
Got it.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Why don't we see what Tyler's talking about and watch that trailer?
In 1974, there emerged a film so unique in its concept, so beautiful in its simplicity, so universal in its appeal, that it immediately was accepted as a classic. It was an extraordinary entertainment which told its story with such warmth and innocence that audiences and critics alike acclaimed it as the most entertaining family film of our time. It was called Benji. Benji, the film and the star, became a worldwide phenomenon, capturing the hearts of moviegoers everywhere. Now, Benji is back before the cameras with all the people who created the original Benji once again combining their talents to bring to the entire family a rare motion picture experience. For the Love of Benji, an unforgettable adventure of excitement and suspense filmed entirely among the cities and islands of ancient Greece. It's a happy, heartwarming, wonderfully unique motion picture of laughter and love, which tells its story entirely through the eyes of what critics have called the most expressive face in dogdom. America's most huggable hero has made another movie. Don't miss For the Love of Benji, a family film by Joe Camp, coming soon from Mulberry Square. Bless you.
Benji, International Spy.
Dog of mystery.
So
off the bat, I have to ask, how did you guys watch this movie?
I watched it on Netflix.
Streaming on Netflix.
It is now on Netflix.
Did you? I know that you put subtitles on.
I did.
So subtitles have the translation. In Netflix, if you're watching it just the way that you watch it, there are no...
That's how I watched
Greek translations.
Shut up, really?
Yes.
They don't have Greek
They
subtitles
do not,
for the Greek parts?
No, they do not. And so I started watching it, and then I was like, oh shit, I wonder if I turn the subtitles. And I started getting the Greek translations, and then I was like, you know what? Joe Camp is such a purist in this first movie. Everything was from Benji's perspective.
That's true.
Right.
I don't need to know what these people are saying.
That's what I thought.
And so I turned it off, and there's so many Greek people yelling at me through this entire
I just
movie.
thought it was part of it.
I had that same thought. I was like, oh man, for the first time I was like, oh well, maybe just this part is gonna, eventually they'll have subtitles. But then I thought the same thing. I was like, oh well, it's like I'm the dog, and I also don't know what they're saying.
Exactly. And so
Should have done that. Now I have regrets.
So you're going to be able to fill us in on so much that was happening in
I
these
don't know
movies.
if I will, but
I just felt like the stuff that the people were saying in Greek, like it wasn't. You could get the gist of what was going on.
Right. One thing that I'll say is like there was a scene that that there's this guy. Maybe you can tell me. Benji. Some stuff happens, and there's a guy where he's helping Benji, but he goes to get some bolt cutters, and what he's saying is him being very friendly and nice. But when you're watching it, it just because I did turn it on for this, and I was just like. He just looks like he's gonna cut Benji's face off.
Aw, no, he wanted to cut the lock so that he could feed them, but we'll get to that. Okay, so the movie opens on kind of these like two spy people speaking in Greece, and so we're already like, okay, the thing of everything being from Benji's point of view is kind of out the window, but it's kind of just like, maybe it's just this prologue, you know?
Yeah.
So I wasn't too mad at it, and yes.
There's an energy scientist.
Yes.
And there's 3 different Greek papers.
Yeah, but the last one's in English, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can know
So
what's
it's a
happening.
Energy
kind of.
scientist disappears. Honestly, that's all I wrote down, so I don't think I gleaned much from the translation.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and then he hands them a photo of Benji and the family from the first movie, and you're
Right.
like,
What?
okay.
Oh yeah, okay. So that whole thing, the two guys are talking, and he's like, you know, you have your contact is a very like embedded person that you're gonna meet, and he's like, well, what does he look like? And he's like, there's a picture of him in your dossier, and then like the guy takes out the picture of like Benji and the kids and Mary, and he's like, what? And he's like, it's that dog. And the guy's like, huh?
Okay, now I feel glad I didn't know that they were saying that.
Yeah, and then he was like, you know, so and so, Chandler, Agent Chandler, or whatever. He's very confident, and so he had to hide the information with this dog.
So then this movie, that kicks off something that I'm actually really excited to talk about here on Sequel Rights, because Benji, or For the Love of Benji, takes 2 sequel tropes and puts them together in, I think, the best way we've ever seen possible. But the first one is take the main character, make them a MacGuffin. Make it like they're the plot device that everybody needs, and that's it. Like that's why they're in the sequel, because some dumb fuck has the nuclear codes on his butt. Like that's classic sequel.
Yep.
Throw this guy out there. Let's just get him in situations. And then 2, family takes a vacay. We get both in this movie, and I think they're done well.
Family takes a vacay, and Macaulay Culkin is lost in New York.
Wait, does anyone know, like I'm actually asking, why they decided to go with Greece?
Well, I imagine the tax breaks were very kind.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I was like, what is the connection here? But
I'm looking forward to there's actually, you know, for the last episode, we had a Mill Creek Blu-ray that had a full commentary and some special features. They're actually putting out a Blu-ray for this one as well, but it doesn't come out until April 3rd. So we don't have it yet, but I'm still going to get it because I want to listen to the commentary.
But you, listener of the future, can go and buy it right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't even have an Amazon page that gives us money back for that.
I
Make a note to make an Amazon page to give us money back for that.
Damn it.
But
We're missing
otherwise,
out on the sweet
but
cash.
otherwise, yeah, sweet. I want to know, like, why Greece? Maybe Joe Camp's family is from there. Maybe Higgins, the actual dog, is of Greek descent.
The dead Higgins, do you mean?
Oh, yeah. So Higgins is gone.
Higgins
We
is
should
no
say.
more.
Yeah, he's retired to
looked
heaven,
the
I'm
same to
assuming,
me.
where all dogs go.
That's because they did a great job.
So now we have Benjean, who is actually a girl.
Benjean.
Breaking that glass ceiling.
Yes, yes. More roles for women.
But Benjean is actually the daughter of Higgins, so it's
Oh, really?
yeah. So it's still in the family.
This Benjean's eyes are expressive as fuck.
I know.
Like, this dog can
it
act.
does look like the same exact dog.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Okay, so they get to their airport, and there's all this hullabaloo about checking Benji and Tiffany as, like, luggage. And the kids are like, we don't want to do that. But they're like, well, you have to. Too bad.
Wait, which kids?
The same kids.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's the same exact kids. They're older now, and the girl has clearly had her growth spurt, but the boy has not. So she now looks older than him, even though she was definitely younger in the last movie.
Yeah, we get the same kids, and Mary is still with them.
Yes.
Yep.
But no dad.
Yeah, the dad will be following in a week.
I thought the scientist was the dad.
Which
Are you
scientist?
serious? No.
Like, I thought that, like, he's gonna be he's gonna be there in a week. Like, who are they targeting? Like, I was confused by this whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the plot in this film
The
is
dad
kind
was
of
a doctor, not a scientist.
Same diff.
the plot. Yeah, the plot in this film is kind of like a bit like obscured until the very end, where one guy just like spells out what was going on the
Yeah.
whole time.
So there's
Yeah,
this
he gets
guy.
exposition diarrhea in
yeah,
the third act.
and I'm like, oh, that's what was happening. Okay.
By the way, when they're checking the dogs as luggage, the little girl, whose name I now cannot remember, Cindy, she is very specific with the flight attendants that they need to be careful with Tiffany because Tiffany has a condition of sorts.
hashtag condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do they ever explain what her?
Oh, yes,
condition is?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
they do. Are you kidding me?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
It's the biggest reveal of the movie.
Also, Eli's gonna be upset because they called it a condition.
Yeah. All right. And moving on. So they check Benji and Tiffany. They're on the conveyor belt, to get on the plane.
Brief aside.
Oh,
guys.
yes, please.
I'm super allergic to dogs.
Yes.
And I'm always like, don't bring your fucking dog on the plane. Like, if it's a service animal, if you're blind, if you need it, I totally understand. But don't buy a vest off Amazon and put a dog on a plane. But putting Benji in this case and putting him on the luggage conveyor belt, I was like,
So sad.
I fucking get it. Like, don't put that dog under there. If he has to go underneath the plane, no.
I was specifically
I
going to
will
ask
not-
you that.
I will not breathe. Like, it's
Also,
so
like,
sad.
they're going on the regular luggage conveyor belt.
Yeah, that definitely is not the case anymore.
Yeah, so like, it's just like it's Benji and Tiffany on this luggage conveyor belt, and it's
sad.
so sad.
So, I was specifically like, I had planned to ask you, Tyler, if you'd be willing to risk your life to have Benji and Tiffany on the plane.
Man,
Would you give Benji your seat?
they should. No, I would not give Benji my seat. They should have. There should be some middle ground there because I have to breathe that air. It makes me
The
not
overhead
breathe.
compartment?
No,
That doesn't help. It's still the same air.
there should be pet
What's
flights.
the middle
or,
ground?
there
Pet
should be
flights?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When you said that, I was thinking like
They get their own fucking airline.
only pets on the
All right, well, let's get Joe Camp on the horn and we have a fucking movie.
Come on, Olympic Airlines.
Benji Air. Air Benji. It's an Air Bud Benji
no.
crossover where they
Yes.
run a soul plane type airline.
Oh my gosh. Our
Dog
series on
plane.
Airbud coming in 2023.
I like the idea of a pet flight.
So this man who's been cozying up to Mary and telling her he's going to show her around Greece or whatever, he sneaks into the luggage room and takes Benji off the conveyor belt, and in the most horrifying scene, he knocks Benji out with what do you call that? Chloroform, yeah.
Chloroform.
Which is so sad and horrifying. I was yelling no,
And
don't touch
Benji, and so Eliz is right. The prologue of the movie makes it seem like, they're throwing away Benji's perspective. Nope. This movie is totally from Benji's perspective. And you watch him, it's like first-person shot of this dude sticking a chloroform rag, towards
so
camera.
sad.
Yeah.
And then you see Benji, he's, in and out. He's dazed, and, this dude's still doing shit. I still don't understand what he did.
Me neither, but I read in the plot description that it's apparently glue okay, so he has a little disc with raised
It's like
dots.
it's like Braille.
Yeah, it looks like Braille, and then he puts glue on it and pushes it onto Benji's foot and then takes it off and burns it and destroys it. So
Right.
this coordinate is apparently written in glue on Benji's paw.
Right.
Benji runs all around
Exactly.
fucking Athens.
So
that,
Benji runs a million miles, and somehow
Yeah.
I guess it was still on there.
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it's glue. I thought that when I thought what he was gonna do, he pulls out this gold disc,
Yeah.
and it's oh shit, he's gonna put it around his neck. It's gonna be the collar.
For sure.
Good call.
Yeah.
And then he takes Benji's paw, and it looks like he's pressing it.
Yeah, it almost looks like he's stabbing
he's
him.
stabbing
Yeah.
him.
Making a tattoo or scars of
Yeah,
some
I was
sort.
thinking it was making some sort of imprint so that later he could put his paw on something and it would
Right.
read the.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying.
Yeah.
Either way. Poor Benji.
But he was out of it. He's fine.
But Benji is drowsy but not completely knocked out so that
So
we
he
can
can
see what's going
recognize this
on. Yeah.
man's
And so it's
face.
he's the screen is
Yeah.
all wobbly and I don't know how to describe that, but the image is
He's woozy.
yeah, he's clearly woozy. Poor thing. But then he throws him back in the cage and puts him back on the conveyor belt.
Yep.
But then the thing that always happens happens, where the dogs get lost.
In New York.
No. They find the treasure of Manhattan Island.
In San Francisco.
They missed the connection in Athens.
in Athens, because
They're
the
supposed to go
family
to
was going
Crete.
to Crete.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they there's this whole scene of the guy from Olympic Air being like, "Oh no, they'll be totally fine. I'm sure they just missed it." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "I'll go check."
Yeah.
And I guess it's good that we didn't see this scene because it's not from Benji's perspective. But those kids would have been hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the second day when Tiffany arrives and Benji doesn't.
Right.
They would have been inconsolable.
Yeah.
And when you see them, they're just kind of
This movie reeks of they had a day with the kids.
yeah,
Oh,
maybe
totally.
two.
Yeah.
I love that it turns out that Benji and Tiffany are in their cages just sitting on a shelf somewhere in like a back room.
No, he's like, they'll be taken care of. They'll be like, they'll be like fully taken care of, and then until the next flight. And she's like, when's the next flight? The guy's like, tomorrow morning. And she's like, oh no.
And then it cuts 12 hours.
And then it cuts to the filthiest water glass that I've ever seen. And the guy in this luggage department who looks like it's like a customs. It looks like if there's a Greek cardboard box version of the warehouse from Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's what this is.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
It's like,
And he's on the phone and he's saying in Greek something like, "Let me check and see where they are." And you're looking around and it's like boxes,
dogs.
more boxes. Yeah, dogs.
2 living things.
Just amongst the other
So
boxes.
this guy, he's talking to Benji and Tiffany in Greek, which I apparently understand now. But I had the caption. So he's basically saying like, "Oh, you poor dogs! Like, don't worry, I'm gonna take care of you. Like, let me get you some water." So he puts like a water dish in front of their cage, and like the tongues cannot reach the water dish. Benji's like trying to stick his tongue through the.
sad.
It was really
grate.
sad.
Yeah.
So, and instead of just lifting the saucer up so that Benji and Tiffany can get the water, this guy says, "You know what? Let me go find my giant set of bolt cutters, cut open the locks on your cages so that I can give you food and water." And so he does that, and of course, Benji escapes.
Benji ditches his lady.
Yep, and then everyone goes running around the airport without anyone stopping them.
Yep.
I really did not think that Benji would leave Tiffany like that. But
Well,
I know he was scared and he's in
but
a weird place. But
When you have a formula that works,
yeah,
Joe Camp knows
he just runs.
that Benji's a loner.
Yeah.
He's a rebel.
He just runs straight out of the airport.
Well, runs straight past some bumbling spies right out of a fish called Wanda,
God,
apparently.
Yeah, we get introduced to these like British spies that are.
I don't know if they're spies.
Well, I don't know who they were.
I don't know who the heck they were.
There's
British
some
people
fuck-ups.
that were
Like,
trying
if-
to also get Benji.
If you, they were either extras from a mad world or rat race.
Yeah,
but they
totally.
want this dog because they think there's prize money behind it, I guess.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't really understand
Because
those characters.
we don't know what's happening with like I started with this. So I knew it was an energy thing or whatever, but like. Yeah, they want the dog for some reason.
Yeah.
It's very unclear who
I
is
think
who.
they somehow intercepted the transmission that it was going to be a dog, and so then they wanted
But did that dude leave his package of maps and a picture of a dog at a cafe somewhere?
It just
I
gets
don't
confusing because there's like 3 different parties trying to get
Yeah.
Benji, and you're not really sure what any of them are doing.
The British people could have been completely taken out of the movie. Their storyline did not really line up at all.
yeah.
But more importantly, this guy Chandler, who was with them at the airport, and the guy who put the thing on Benji's paw, he finds him or starts seeing Benji at some point around Greece.
Yeah, so now Benji is like we keep saying, lost in New York.
Well, yeah. Benji is lost in New York, so he runs out, he escapes, and then like the British people are trying to find him, and then so that Benji has like his lost in New York moment where he's going around. There's Greek people yelling.
Yeah, he
There's-
thinks
Of course,
he's
he like puts up shop in a little like park full of Greek ruins.
yeah. I love all these shots when he's going around town where like they do these like quick like double take zoom ups of like humans in the distance. It's always like Benji's like, people? I know these people. And then he gets up there and it's like, oh no, it's just some Greek people that look exactly like your
the sound
Your
design in
kids.
this movie is great and also highly exaggerated.
Oh yeah.
Like there's points where it's awesome and there's points where it is so over the top that it's ridiculous. And like some of the times it would be like it'll be the score and like and then it'll just be like Greek yelling and it's so abrasive.
There's lots of Greek yelling and people
Yeah.
chasing Benji.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point Benji steals some sausages from a local market,
Right.
and then
Because
the butcher.
they make a point to say that they have not eat or drank in 12 hours,
Right.
and so Benji like runs out of the airport and he is starving.
Yeah, there's lots of sad scenes where he's like trying to find food or like get water from somewhere.
There's a big dog that's
Yeah.
eating a big bone, and then it's kind of like
I love this scene.
Yeah.
it's incredible that they got these dogs to act in the way that Benji's kind of just like, I want to give me some.
Yeah, he's like, I'll go above him and try to like bark down so I look like I'm bigger.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh no, he's not doing anything. So I'm gonna go next to him, and then I'll like slowly sneak up. I'm gonna get on my belly and just go inch, inch, inch. Oh, he didn't move. Gonna get closer, closer, closer. And then the dog eventually turns around and is like, leave me alone.
Yeah, but I thought it was cute how, like, I think they're kind of implying that dogs also have different languages, because when Benji met Tiffany, for example, they immediately started barking at each other and they
Right.
could communicate because they both live in America and probably speak
Right.
the English version of dog barking. But
Right.
this dog, he like barks at him, and this big dog completely doesn't bark back or say anything to him.
Yeah.
He just kind of turns around and, you know.
I did not read into that, and I think you were absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so Benji cannot communicate with any other dogs in Greece because he doesn't speak Grecian dog language.
Yeah.
I know, he went from being the frickin' mayor of the town back in Benji 1, and now he's like totally confused.
I
and-
think that there's a really great parallel in this movie, because at one point when he's despondent, this is after he has some fun antics, but he ends up back in a trash room basically, and like with a bunch of abandoned furniture, and he just lays down. He's like, "This is my lot in life." Like it's him being like, "He's like,
Yeah.
my master's dead. Like I had these kids, but like maybe this is what I'm supposed to have."
That
Like,
scene was great because like he finds what basically looks very similar and is set up very similar to the like little spot he had in his home in the first movie, and he even puts his head down like in between these like table, legs or whatever, just like he did in the first
Yep.
movie. And you're
Yep.
like, oh, it's like a callback.
It absolutely is a callback, and
Yeah.
it's like, and it's just, and it gets,
And he feels
true-
comfortable there.
It gets a true melancholy too, though,
Yeah.
because it's him being like, maybe I didn't deserve a family. Like that's what I read into that
Oh
scene.
man,
was
yeah.
like-
I mean, Benji is so great, like, because in one sense he never gives up, right, and he
Yep.
always keeps going. But he's not afraid to have these like vulnerable moments where he like shows how sad he is. I
just
realize
like-
I'm talking about a dog, but every time like he has a moment where he's like, "Should I give up hope?" and he lies down and he
Yeah.
puts his little paws under his mouth and just like looks so sad. I was like, "Oh my god!" I totally
my
wanted to
two
cry.
back-to-back notes are Benji misses his old trash house, and then damn, this dog's eyes are expressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to go back really quick though to the scene where Benji steals some sausages from
Yeah.
a butcher at a market, and the butcher chases after him into the street with another guy who he had previously been yelling at, and they're screaming in Greek and yelling, running after him. The butcher actually says to Benji, "I'm gonna, like, you disgusting mutt, I'm gonna catch you and make sausages out of you." And I was
shit.
like, "Whoa!" First of all, disgusting. And like that's the point where the guy he was arguing with like just starts laughing at him. Like you probably just thought they were saying nothing,
Yeah.
and he starts laughing. Yeah. So yeah, because why would you want to buy sausages made out of a dog?
when he sees Benji again, is he trying to be friendly?
Yeah, I think he's trying to give him the food, right?
No, I think he's trying to catch him.
He's trying to catch him the next time he's back.
Yeah, when Benji comes back to the market later, he's trying to
the
catch
way
them.
that reads, that they were just like, they're like, oh, the dog stopped our argument, like we're friends now, like,
Yeah.
and so it seems like he's being like, oh no, doggy, like you fixed my day, like
No. He's definitely like, I'm gonna catch you, like, and then that's why those like police dog catchers are around, and they eventually.
Oh, that's
catch
weird because
Benji.
like, does he say anything in that scene when
I
he
don't
comes
remember,
back?
but I found it to be actually like
because without
aggressive
knowing
and
what he's
negative.
saying, his face looks like, oh, I'm happy to see the dog, and this time I'm going to give him food instead of him having to steal food.
No, I think it was more like a come here, little doggy. I'm faking a
I
smile
don't
because
know.
I'm going to capture you.
That
'Cause
doesn't,
then-
that doesn't seem like the way it plays. And then
Yeah.
like he gets captured after he trips the guy with the oranges, and then that dude's fucking pissed. He's just whipping oranges at
Yeah.
Benji like a bastard.
It made it look like a situation where like Benji was back there. He sees that guy. The guy's trying to be nice, but last time he saw him, he was chasing him, so he freaks out and backs
No, he's
away.
definitely just trying to like
I don't know about that.
steal him.
I don't know about that.
How do you not know about that? You didn't even read the translation.
Yeah, but I'm
that's
looking
how
at
it
his
reads.
face.
Yeah.
No, he was trying to like lure him in, like be like, "Hey, dog, I'm pretending to be friendly, and then I'm gonna capture you." And
Yeah, but
give
he
you the
didn't say
police."
anything, so how do you know that's what he was doing?
That's what I read from it.
Well,
because
I read the opposite thing.
my
That's what I'm
God.
saying.
But you didn't understand.
I had the
negative he was
director's
being.
intent, so Joe Camp of the Purists is from the dog's perspective.
All right, fine.
All I know is they're both laughing at the end of the scene. I don't care if he said, I'm going to kill you anyways. They're both laughing like, ha 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 ha, ha whatever. And then like the very next scene, he's like,
One thing that we did skip over is that Benji steals those sausages, brings them back to his park, and then it's much better than the ratty ass bone that big Greek dog had. And then Benji is a gentleman and shares his haul with
friends
the
for
stranger.
life. with the giant dog. What kind of dog is that? I don't even know.
Greek.
Greek. It's a Greek hound.
It's a big, fluffy, kind of yellow tan dog.
It was a big dog.
Yeah,
It's not really a golden
big dog.
retriever. It's bigger than that, but...
I wouldn't know.
So then, after the whole Aladdin market sequence, Benji gets captured by Greek police.
Greek dog police.
They throw a net on him.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. And then suddenly he's with the British people, right?
Well,
Yeah, they take him out of the pound.
So he gets taken to the pound, and then but you don't see that. It just cuts to the British people having a drink, and then the dude insulting the woman, and he's like, oh, like sometimes you have excellent ideas, and even simple as they are, I never would have thought of the pound. And it's like you're both fucking idiots.
So they have Benji momentarily, but then of course... First, the Greek spy guy shows up looking for Benji, and they lie to him, and he leaves.
This is like the first time that you see, like, okay, I can kind of understand what's happening in this movie.
Yeah. So then Mary shows up in a cab.
Mary shows up first.
But the Greek spy guy comes as if he is the airline.
Yeah, he pretends to be the airline. Yeah. So then Mary comes and she's like, "Oh, do you have our dog? We were told he got taken up by this pound." And the lady's like, "No, what are you talking about?"
And this is another great sound design moment.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
really
loud,
sad.
shitty truck coming up the hill, and so Benji, dumb fuck British dude, left the window open because he took a photo of Greek dude. And Benji sees Mary, and he's just like
barking his ass off.
bark, 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 bark.
Yeah.
But she can't hear because the truck's so loud.
Much
And
like
it
the
doesn't-
police station situation.
Yep.
and the sound design's so extreme that like you can tell that that's what's happening.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it beats you over the head with it. But I feel like a lot of movies didn't do that in a way. It's great. The sound design's amazing.
So sadly, Benji does not have the courage to jump out the window and run down various parts of the building like we've seen him do a million times until the Mary leaves, and then the British guy is threatening Benji, trying to get him to come back in, and then Benji finally gets the courage.
They do
to jump
make
out.
it look like a far jump.
Yeah.
They make it look like, and then like
There's
Benji,
like a little awning that
so,
he
like,
jumps
and then
down on.
It's like a Tom Cruise stunt because like Benji jumps out onto this pillar and then onto an awning and then skids down it and then jumps like 5 feet off the awning.
He's doing lots of dangerous stuff in this movie,
Yeah.
basically.
Or she.
Oh, yeah, she. Sorry.
But yeah, it's dope.
So there's more chasing. At some point, the guy Chandler is chasing him again, and
So Benji's chasing after the car and Chandler's in his Greek red convertible dickmobile and gets caught off by Greek traffic, I imagine.
Yeah. And Benji just like loses track of Mary's car and
Right.
then is like back on the street.
at some point, another Greek man takes Benji in by, tempting him with food. And apparently this Greek man also knows the Greek spy because he calls him and says, "Guess who I have?" And then the Greek spy is going to be on his way, except that Chandler has a Doberman pinscher that he has tracking Benji.
I don't know if you noticed, but that restaurant that he's in, the guy who owns that restaurant who works with the Greek spy, is the same place as the opening movie of the movie. So I assume that the Greek spy is meeting the guy who's giving him the newspaper is that dude who owns the restaurant.
That makes
That's
sense.
That's what I.
That
think.
makes sense.
Okay.
I don't think Dobermans are good at tracking people.
Yeah,
But they are scary.
I don't think that's
that's kind of what I was wondering too. But yeah, it's a scary dog.
Yeah.
So that dog is being used by Chandler to track Benji. Oh, at some point too, Benji tried to go to the hotel where the kids were, but he saw that guy Chandler out front and remembered that he drugged him, and so he got scared and ran away.
There's a lot of sequences of like Benji remembering stuff.
Yeah, just like in the first movie.
Yeah.
He even remembers all the way back to
Yes.
his master getting shot.
He does.
Yeah.
No, it's like I don't know if we've ever had a movie here, and it's nice after the right-wing fuckfest of Missing in Action.
Yep.
To have our most anti-gun movie because Benji knows guns are bad.
Guns are bad.
Guns are bad.
And this movie goes like crazy because Benji actually gets shot at several
Benji gets
times.
shit.
He gets shit at.
I was about to say who shot at him, and I realized we weren't there yet.
Oh well, whatever.
So, I'm like losing track. He keeps running away from everybody. Oh, at some point he's in the restaurant and that guy Chandler comes in and we have like the raptor kitchen scene from Jurassic Park where the guy Chandler's opening, like crawling on the ground and opening every cabinet in the kitchen. Finally,
and this is
Benji's in
another
one
time
of
where
them.
the sound design is insane because he eventually opens one and then Benji's like, raw!
Yeah.
And then manages to escape.
Yeah,
Thankfully.
the human characters in this film like consistently underestimate Benji's skills and leave him alone like every single moment they possibly can.
Yeah.
At some point, we get payoff for making friends with that big dog with the sausages because the Doberman Pinscher is chasing Benji through that park, and the big dog stops the Doberman from continuing to.
Yeah, there's
follow him.
there's this awesome like dog/car chase in this part where like the Doberman's chasing Benji, and then Chandler, whatever his name is, Chandler Dietrich is like in a car behind the Doberman chasing them both.
And whenever
it's crazy.
Benji starts to run, it just starts playing Shaft music. Like it's just like bam, 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 bam,
And there's some times like where Chandler's chasing Benji in the car where it's like, if he was going like slightly faster, he'd probably just run him over. Like there's these crazy shots of like, the front, they must have had the camera like right in the front of the car. And Benji doesn't look like he's that far in front of the car when he's running away sometimes. I was like, actually kind of scared for the dog.
So then after all this, Benji tries again to go back to the hotel, and he overcomes his biggest enemy yet, a revolving door. And then he's able to hide behind some baggage people
That
to
was great.
sneak into the hotel. And he finally sees Mary and the kids in the hotel lobby, and it's beautiful. He runs and jumps into her arms in slow motion, and they're all saying, Benji, Benji. And then they're all so happy, and they go up to the hotel room.
And the bellhops are like, we're going to get that dog. And then Mary's like, it's cool.
She's
we know.
like,
We
we're
know
good.
him.
We're good now.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, bye.
So
Sorry.
they're back in the hotel room. He's reunited with Tiffany.
I guess we do love dogs.
Everyone's happy, and then this freaking guy Chandler comes back, and he reveals the entire spy plot, sort of, and says that he needs to take Benji away for 2 days.
He says he's an agent for
Well,
the
no,
United
it's the Greek
States.
guy shows up first.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
The
The
Greek
Greek
guy
guy shows up and says, I need to take your dog for a few days.
And they're like, who the hell are you? So they say no.
And then Chandler comes in and knocks the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, I need the dog for reasons.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you've been kind of nice to us so far.
And they're like, okay, sure.
But they're like, but Cindy's pissed. Whereas the other kid, Paul, I think, he's kind of like, yeah, okay, how cool. Benji's a spy now. Yay.
Yeah. And she's smart enough to be like, this is bad.
Yeah.
And then so Mary has to I believe Chandler someone gives her a bad guy gun.
Yeah.
Like she gets a German gun. She gets a bad guy gun.
He's like, hold that gun on him, and he won't even try anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, God, I don't like guns.
Greek dude wakes up and he's basically just like says like everything that dude just told you is a lie. Like, and he's killed somebody. He's a double agent, and we as an audience know because we saw him have a basically drug and violate Benji
Yeah, we
in a
saw
way.
him messing with
He
Benji.
said he was CIA, but he's not,
Yeah.
according to this Greek man.
The guy we saw in the beginning, who we are suspicious of because of how we saw him in the beginning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So at some point, we end up on a boat with the British people and Chandler.
So the British people got Benji.
No, Chandler brings Benji back to his boat.
Right.
And the British people are there. And he's
because
like,
they
what are you guys
decided that
doing
after
here?
the spy thing, they just want to keep Benji as their dog for some reason.
Yeah.
So they're there.
And they leave Benji alone again.
And Chandler kills them.
Yeah. Or he at least, like,
He probably, I don't know if he finished killing them, but he hits them over the head.
he
with
hits
it.
him with a gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Benji sees. So he has yet another example of guns being bad.
Good guns.
Yeah. And then
Benji escapes again.
escapes and runs back to the hotel yet again.
Yep.
And gets shot at multiple times.
Yep.
In this entire sequence.
Which is nuts because like Chandler is like in his fucking coop.
Yeah.
And firing his gun as Benji's running up like
Crazy
white
staircases.
Greek steps.
Yeah.
So Benji finally makes it back to the hotel.
It's a full-blown
and there's,
set piece. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's really cool.
There are like 100 police officers at this hotel, and
Yeah.
we're like, what the heck is going on? And Benji sees Mary and Paul at the top of the stairs, and he's like, oh, great, I'm gonna go over there. But then he turns around, he didn't notice that in the entry of the hotel is parked Chandler in his red car, and he has a gun pointed at Cindy's head.
Yeah, pretty scary. And she's like, "Here, Benji, come on, boy."
Yeah, he tells her that she has to get Benji to come, and then he'll let her go.
And like apparently this is happening around where all these cops are, but they're not seeing what's happening.
Right.
Because I don't.
But
know.
then Benji,
I think the
Benji
cops-
has
it's a
his
standoff.
guns are bad flashback.
Yeah.
Oh.
The cops don't want to do anything because they're
Yeah, I
afraid
guess.
that, yeah. So yeah, Benji has his flashback. It's so dramatic. Like he's running down the stairs toward the car, and he sees his old master.
do.
He sees the recent gun violence. He sees like all these
Yeah, they do
things.
this thing where they repeat the same shot of him like starting down the stairs.
Yeah.
But they do it like maybe like 3 times too many.
many,
It's
yeah.
like dun 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 dun, started dun 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 dun, and he goes dun dun
Yeah,
dun.
it's
dun.
very close to Monty Python.
I think it's like 5 times,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
finally he's going down the
It's beautiful
stairs.
though. He jumps all the way up into the car from the ground and goes straight for Chandler's arm
Yeah,
that's holding the gun and bites it.
knocks the gun
Knocks the
back.
gun
Gun
back.
flies
And it
back.
goes off actually.
It does.
Yeah. Cindy runs away,
Saves Cindy's life.
and then they capture Chandler.
Yep. And then we cut to the family on a beach where Greek spy is there for some reason to provide closure.
Yeah, he's debriefing Mary on what happened.
He's like,
Which-
look, guys.
I think that they're gonna fuck. Like, I think that like
that's kind of what I was thinking too.
because he was like, on condition of me being here, you need to push my hammock. So I sway back and
He's
forth.
sitting in a hammock, Mary's sitting in a lawn chair with her back to the ocean and the children.
Yeah.
So she's just staring at him, and like he's kind of being like, "Well, that's what happened." And
Yeah,
that's
he's
how it
basically
went
like,
down.
oh, I know you were wondering what was going on this entire
Yeah.
movie. Well, let me tell you.
And then he kind of stops, and he's like, "Hey, I said I'd keep talking while you kept pulling."
Yeah, that's like the end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, no.
and
'cause then
we revealed
Tiffany's
Tiffany's condition in the best moment of the movie that I literally like yelled out, like, yeah! Benji opens what looks like a picnic basket, and there is puppies!
Oh yeah.
There's 3 at least 4-week-old puppies.
One's brown,
cute.
one is brown that looks like Benji, and 2 of them are white like Tiffany.
It's
And that was her condition.
Oh yeah. So I did not connect the condition thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, what's wrong with her? Is she sick or something? And then they never mentioned.
well, they
it
didn't
again.
want Tiffany not to make scale for this movie, so they were trying to keep it on the down low.
At first, I thought maybe that they were implying that Tiffany was like messed up from the incident
Yeah, I
where she
know,
got
that's-
kicked
That's
last
what
time.
that's what I thought
That's what I
too.
thought, too.
Yeah, but no, it's the shoes.
And then I was just like,
It's
oh,
that
they had
Benji was
kids.
boning.
Yeah.
Still, though, I mean, like that's even more crazy though that you put a very, very close to giving birth pregnant dog on a plane in.
No, you wouldn't do that.
Because
don't
what if
know.
she'd given birth in the cage on the
You
plane?
probably would do that in 1977
Oh gosh,
when the movie
because
came
they
out.
were only going to
Maybe.
be there for 2 weeks.
Maybe.
It's not good. But anyways, the puppies are freaking adorable. And then we get the credits. And at the end, we get a shot of Benji, and it just says "woof" on the screen.
And it starts playing that I feel love.
Oh yeah, I Feel Love comes back.
Oh man, the song. We have to talk
Oh,
about
yeah, the
music in this
song.
movie.
There's a new song
the
from
beginning.
Charlie Rich
Yep.
called "Sunshine of Your Smile"
Oh,
or
it's so
something like
cute.
that.
Yeah.
Something of the Rhapsody.
Oh yeah, Rhapsody. He uses the word Rhapsody a lot.
It's basically the same song
Yeah.
with different words, and then they sing the original song
Yeah.
from the first movie at the end credits.
I feel like the Greek guy is almost like it almost would have worked too if everyone didn't underestimate Benji.
Yeah, they were
Well, no,
like,
and
if he
he even
hadn't missed
said-
that
yeah.
connection
Yeah.
to Athens or whatever.
So what happens to the scientists? Do we know?
Well, I think that they were handing off the scientist or something
Coordinates.
to be rescued, but the coordinates were where the meeting was, and they were gonna like they were going to kill the scientist at the meeting or kidnap him.
Or sell him for the highest bidder.
Yeah.
as
I
I
Still
imagine.
don't know why that fake guy Chandler had to put the coordinates on Benji's foot. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, and the thing that the scientists could do was turn 1 barrel of oil into 12 barrels.
Oh, that's
of oil.
right.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it was an energy plot, which gets back to why it's called the For the Love of Benji, because it is a Living Daylights, like From Russia with Love type story.
I forgot in the scene, like, in the scene when they're kind of like explaining a little bit what's going on in the hotel room, the kids are like, Benji's a super spy, and the Greek guy's like, no, he's not a spy, and the kids are like, no, he's a spy.
Only the boy. The girl was not buying this. The girl was not buying it.
The girl was already accepting his death.
Yeah, because he was gone at this
Benji's
point.
a hero. Like heroes only die.
He's a spy. No, he's not a goddamn spy. How many times I gotta tell you?
He's a dog.
They had to give Paul some lines, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so what do we think of this movie overall compared to the first one?
I think this movie is, as far as sequels go, one of the best sequels that we've seen. It takes tropes, and I don't know if it is the source of tropes.
I think those Disney movies are more the ones that had the tropes, like the live-action Disney ones, like That Darn Cat and Shaggy Dog and all those things. So,
Yeah, I don't know if this would be the source of tropes, but
It's for animal movies.
it's definitely building on things
For
that are
animal
now
movies,
tropes
maybe,
now.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't yet.
I feel like that there's a lot that happens in this movie that is unique, and especially from putting it from that character's perspective. Like, Benji's dumb in this movie. Not that he's dumb, that he's awesome, but like he's ignorant and kind of like it's almost like a man who wasn't there type thing.
Yeah.
Like it has noir elements. There's a lot of intelligence behind the filmmaking here.
We can probably think of a million examples where all of a sudden they're like, let's make it a spy thing. And one
Cars
that
2.
I was just going to say, off the top of my head, Cars 2 rips off For the Love of Benji by
Yes.
having Mater be this bumbling, not known to him spy.
Absolutely.
Like-
I mean, and that's a Hitchcock reference, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
all there. But like to do it in this way, and to do it with a dog, and there is scenes where there's like way more crowds, and like to have a trained animal doing what you want him to do when there's people walking around,
Yeah.
and there's people walking around in every shot of this movie.
I really was like pretty impressed with this one too, because
Yep.
I thought the same thing going in, like, oh, they're probably not going to be able to keep up the like rigorous, like, because it's hard to do the whole like shot from the dog's perspective
Yep.
thing. Like, that's really hard work. And I mean, I think one of the most telling like credits in the film is like, it says like, Frank In and his wife,
Yeah.
like, thanks for making it happen again.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for making it all happen again, which is maybe my favorite credit I've ever seen. in a
Yeah.
movie.
Frank In is the dog trainer.
Yeah,
and the
Frank
owner
In's the dog
of
trainer and
Benji
his-
I
Higgins.
loved that.
Yeah, and like there's some just great shots in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's these really awesome. I mean, I think they did it in the first film too, but I liked it even better here actually, of these shots of Benji, like the camera just moving along with him as he runs.
Yep.
Like really long take too, and it's like, wow. I mean, just the stuff that they continue to have this dog, and it's a different dog. It's not the same dog.
For
doing
our
this stuff.
youth audience, those types of takes, like you only have, shooting on your phone or shooting it digitally, like you just roll. Like back then, the camera weighs 30 pounds,
Yeah.
and you have 11 minutes of film. Like those takes are
And
rigorous.
and they're holding the camera like as low to the ground as they possibly
Yep.
could with the giant like case that it.
By the
comes
way,
in
I
with
hope
that
we
thing.
don't have any youth listeners.
Youth. What's wrong with the youth?
Anybody who was born after 1990.
Oh, fair enough.
And I hope we do. Welcome.
Well, I mean, so this movie I thought was good, but I still like the first one way better. Just the story, and I thought the spy thing was a little bit extraneous and crazy.
How many handgun flashbacks would you give this? Out of 10.
6.
7.
Ooh.
It's a revolver with an extra bullet. 7
Okay.
handgun flashbacks.
I think I'm going to give it, I feel like I did 6 for the last one. I think I'm
Yeah.
going to go with 6 again.
Yeah.
So before we move on, I have some fun facts. So our next movie, which we're going to talk about, doesn't take place or does not release till 1987. So this movie, we have some time. And Benji did another movie that we're not going to review called Oh Heavenly Dog with Chevy Chase and Jane Seymour. But did you guys know that Benji was the centerfold of Playgirl magazine in 1980 in conjunction with Oh Heavenly Dog? So Chevy Chase and Jane
That was
Seymour. Benjean, yeah. No. So Chevy Chase and Jane Seymour are on the...
Benjean showed her Benjean?
She did. So they're on the cover.
She's like, spread.
On the cover of the magazine, it says, Mystery Celebrity Centerfold Inside. So, women going out to buy Playgirl are like, ooh, celebrity mystery in the centerfold. They buy Playgirl, open it up, and it's a sexy picture of Benji laying on her back.
It's a female dog.
Exactly. So...
But billed as Benji. Nobody knows.
First of all, Benjean is the only canine centerfold in the history of Playgirl and I think Playboy. She's also one of the only females to ever appear naked in Playgirl because why? And Joe Camp was interviewed about this, and what he said about it was, well, the way we looked at it, it was that in addition to being ridiculously funny, Benji's centerfold meant one less naked man on the magazine racks because the dog playing Benji was actually a girl. And then when asked would he do it again because of his family-friendly image that he has now, he said no.
I know, I'm kind of surprised that he even let that happen.
Exactly. I guess he just thought it was hilarious and that it was preventing another naked man.
It wasn't for his movie.
Yeah, but
no, he was involved.
He was super involved in Benji, like, and everything.
Yeah.
Sure.
He obviously was involved because he said he gave permission.
Didn't he direct that movie?
I don't know, but he either directed or produced it.
I'm pretty sure he directed that movie, sorry.
So yeah, Benjean, a.k.a. Benji, made history in the pages of Playgirl. And I definitely found the picture on a Portuguese website. It is not available anywhere in English, but I found the picture and we will be posting it on social media. But it is explicit. Cover your eyes.
That it was Benjean and Chevy Chase and Jane Seymour and not Jim Belushi and that dog from K-9 Cop.
I actually kind of want to see this movie because, like what I say, the special features on the last DVD were all about kind of like the making of that film, and it looked really fun, actually.
Well, maybe we'll watch it as a bonus.
Chevy Chase doing the voice of Benji? I don't know. It could be fun.
Yeah, but I mean, what we like about Benji is it isn't talk.
That's true.
So.
And he doesn't sound like Chevy Chase.
Benji certainly does not sound like Chevy Chase.
All right.
I was thinking it would be fun to watch do like a dubbed version of like what you think Benji's saying at any certain time.
We could do it.
That would be fun. Bonus content.
All right.
Yeah, so that brings us to the end of For the Love of Benji. Up next, we've got Benji Off the Leash, right?
No,
is that right?
Benji the Hunted.
Benji the Hunted. I don't know.
This is the one I remember.
We're doing Benji the Hunted. It came out in 1987, and Joe Camp worked with Disney to do it. So now we have like big studio behind it, whereas these previous two were all Joe Camp.
Benji the Hunted. So let's say now that he's an international spy,
yeah,
I think he's gonna be hunted.
I know what happened.
No, don't tell us then. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I'm going to go ahead and say that we kind of just erase everything because these kids can't possibly still be in it. So
yeah, if it's 10 years later.
Yeah, the kids are gone and the family's gone, and we just kind of have another. Maybe it'll start over where Benji's just kind of like on the streets and he ends up in the forest or something like that.
Oh, in the forest, you say?
Well, yeah, because he's hunted.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's being hunted by something. Is it people?
It's,
I hope not.
Have you guys seen the movie Homeward Bound? Because
it's that?
It might be that.
Okay.
Benji the Homeward Bound.
All right, so if you have comments about Benji, please email us, sequelrights@gmail.com, and you can catch up on all our past episodes at sequelrights.com and find us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at sequelrights.
Tweet us pictures of your dogs that hate guns.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us your Benji stories.
Tell us your Benji stories. Show us how much your dog hates guns.
If you can send us a photo of a dog that's cuter than Benji, maybe we'll send you a fun email.
Maybe we'll repost it.
Because I think Benji is maybe the cutest dog of all time. That's all I gotta say. Fight me about it on Twitter. Don't at me.
And the Twitter gauntlet has been thrown. Don't at me, bro.
Don't at me, bro.
All right. Well, yeah, that's going to close out our Benji for the love of Benji. Please rate and review us on the iTunes, on your Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Share it with your friends. Share it with your friends to friends.
And thanks for my brother who wrote the music at the top. We love the theme. We know you guys love the theme. It's great.
Yeah, and don't forget that you can watch all the Benji movies on Netflix, except for Benji the Hunted. All of them are there, including the new one now.
You'll have to hunt for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Benji
And
the
then-
Hunted is available for rent like everywhere. Online.
Yeah, and then the first two are on these Blu-rays from Mill Creek Entertainment as well. Okay.
So we went a little bit out of order, which is something we don't normally do, but for good reason. We had this awesome interview for Benji 2018. So I know you guys have been waiting a little bit longer than usual for this For the Love of Benji episode. So we have saved something special for you.
With bated breath, everyone, you've been so good waiting, and we have a special
You've
surprise.
been such good boys.
Such good boys.
But not as
You've been
good
the-
as
you've
Benji.
been the best boys.
So we'd like to leave you with a little something special at the end of this episode. It's our ode to Benji and also our ode to James Bond.
It's an ode to Benji's career as a spy. In this
International Dog of Mystery.
Benji. So enjoy. Nobody's dog is cuter. Nobody's dog is cuter. Makes me feel warm in my chest. Nobody's dog is half as good boy as you. Benji, you're the best. I was out walking by the dog pound near me. I saw a shadow in the moonlight. A cute doggy in front of me. For the love of Benji is keeping my kidnapped children safe tonight. And nobody's dog is cuter. Though sometimes I wish you could talk. Nobody's dog is quite as stray as you. Also, cops wish you could talk. The way that you're barking whenever you're barking, there's some kind of something you're trying to say. We're not comprehending, but that bark is outstanding. Has anyone seen my kids around today?